It's time
For the show after the
for
show.
the show after the show.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Was that for Mike?
Yeah, that was just
The
charge.
Oh, okay. Well, that was also the theme music for today's show after a show, where we will debate.
You've been wanting to talk about this.
Yeah,
so you're taking over the show after the show.
All right, I brought this up off the air. I wanted to, because I was thinking about this, and I know it's a little early, but I don't know that anything could change by the time draft comes around, barring major injury, obviously, to sway me off of this. I believe with the number one pick in the 2016 fantasy football leagues, you must take Antonio Brown with that pick. And I have almost never taken a wide receiver in the first round. I mean, I'll do it,
You must, eh?
I am saying
You must.
you must. If you have the first pick in the 2016 draft, you are going to make a mistake if you do not draft Antonio Brown. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree.
All right. Let's debate it.
I'm going to disagree with the caveat that it's okay if you do that. That's the one player that I'm kind of saying it's all right. You're not. I know this. If you do that, you're not going to screw your team.
Exactly. Thank you. We
That-
are done with the show
that
after the
does
show.
not-
What he just said is the entire reason you want to take Antonio Brown with your first pick. You will not screw your team doing it.
Listen, if you want to play that way, that's fine. But not screwing my team is not my goal in fantasy football. My goal in fantasy football is to win,
And so
not
you're
to
saying,
not screw my team.
Okay, so you're saying that
no,
you can't
no.
win with Antonio Brown, who will finish
Yes,
in the top
of
three
course
wide
you can.
receivers?
Of course you can, but let me tell you what situation I like a lot more.
Okay.
I like a situation a lot. Just because Antonio Brown's really good does not
Great.
change the positional scarcity argument for running backs.
Sure.
Running backs are more rare. Finding a good one's harder. You can get wide receivers later. I can get a guy in the second round that could be Antonio Brown level production or close to it. Whether it's an Odell Beckham Jr., whether it's even the DTs or the Jordy Nelsons or the
Jordy Nelson, I'll give you, but
DeAndre-
Odell Beckham Jr. is going with
DeAndre Hopkins.
you're
He
not
could
getting
drop
him in
it.
the second.
How many wide receivers are going in the first here? You got like a list
Right.
of 7 for me there.
Right now, there's 5 going in the first.
Okay,
DeAndre
tell me their
Hopkins,
name.
Julio Jones, Odell Beckham Jr., and Antonio Brown.
Okay, who's going in the second?
In the second round right now is going I'm sorry, Allen Robinson's also going in the first. Des Bryant, Jordy Nelson, A.J. Green, and Brandon Marshall.
Okay, fine. Any of those 4 guys, fine. You could throw Keenan Allen into the mix, who was leading the league in receptions last year with upside potential. I'm not saying they are,
Sure.
but here's the thing. Your odds of finding that contributing, dominating force at running back decrease immensely later in the rounds than they do with wide receiver. The position scarcity argument doesn't change for me. If you told me I wasn't going to fail, like have a flop,
Right.
which situation would you pick? The running back first, the wide receiver second? You're going to end up with a better team that way. You're just risk averse, and so you're trying to make the argument that I just don't want to not screw my team. So you just take the safest guy in every round, and then you can be the best third place guy in the league.
No. If I was just taking safety, right, and just going Eric Decker, where I know he's consistent and he's going to be all right and help my team.
Where is your Eric Decker jersey?
Then yes, I'll give you that third place finish. There are only a handful of guys in the league. Only a handful, and I mean that like 5 guys who are game changers for your team. We don't know which running back that's going to be next year. And Le'Veon Bell, if he's
has
healthy,
been that for multiple years.
he's healthy, which
When
is
he's healthy.
becoming rarer and rarer. Coming off of a knee injury for the second year
So
in a row.
Big Ben's health, which by the way is pretty dependent on Antonio Brown.
Yeah, Big Ben had a terrible health last year, and Antonio Brown finished where?
No, he was good.
Okay, so that's my point. Is what if Big Ben plays the whole year? You've got a guy like a Gronk, Le'Veon Bell if he's not injured, Antonio Brown. Who are the other like complete game changers?
Todd Gurley.
Really?
Yes.
Game
Todd
changer?
Gurley could absolutely be the number 1 pick.
Sure, I agree. He could be the number 1 pick. My point is,
Could be Jamal Charles. Could be Adrian Peterson.
my point.
Could be David
though,
Johnson.
David Johnson. It could be David Johnson. It could be Thomas Rawls. It could be any number of these guys that have so
Julio
many question
Jones,
marks
obviously.
this year. And so my point is, I think you have the opportunity to take a guy who is as close to a guarantee as you can get that he's a game-changing performer for a championship run. He is on championship fantasy teams. You could take him, or You can go with the position scarcity and be scared into taking one of these huge question mark
I'm not
guys.
gonna be scared to take Le'Veon Bell. I'm not.
Look, if Le'Veon Bell is on my team, I am happy.
Right.
But if I have to choose between knowing whether or not I'm taking a guy coming off of his second knee injury 2 years in a row or a guy who is going to go into the first ballot Hall of Fame as a wide receiver, I'm
fine.
going with him.
And the reality is this will be discussed all the way up into the draft. And when we did a mock draft and posted the results for people to vote on Twitter at the FF Ballers, I think people pretty much voted based on who they'd rather take with the first-round pick.
No.
Because I took Le'Veon Bell, you took Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. But comment on who you would take first.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be Lev Bell, but is it Antonio Brown or is it somebody else? Because I'm curious what the kind of thought process is.
I would love to know what you guys are saying.
If you want to be third place, obviously you vote Antonio Brown.
Vote Antonio Brown.
No, it's fine. Like I said, I'm not gonna be sad. Nobody's sad having Antonio Brown on the team.
No, but
I
do
still
want
do
to
not
know,
take that
I
method.
really want to know the Foot Clan's pulse on this because
Yeah.
I've always been running back first. I took a running back last year. I won the championship in our league of record, Andy. Don't forget. And so
Wait,
I want to
that's an
know
argument
what
for
is
me.
your pulse.
you took a running back first and you won the title.
I'm just saying.
All right, let's end on that. See you later.
Why are you frozen?